Welcome to practice. I'm Donna Cavanough, and we're going to begin standing today. Feet under the hips, parallel legs. Begin to lift the front of your body, top feet, top the knees, quadriceps, hips, belly, breastbone, top of the head. And notice what that action of lifting feels like. And relaxing your shoulder blades down, send the tailbone down, the heels down. Roll the upper arms out and palms in. And so the front body is lifting, the back body is anchored, and the chest is spacious. And this posture, practiced by so many, Tadasana, mountain pose. Notice how those adjustments feel in your body. Maybe you need to relax your shoulders a little more, or just feel like your head is a little more balanced. And feel the feet right across the floor. Beautiful. And then we're going to make a circle with the whole body, as if you had a pencil at the top of your head and you're drawing a halo. And circle your body around your feet. Feeling the weight shift in your feet. Become aware of your breathing. And the other direction. You might like to try it with your eyes closed. It'll make you a little more wobbly. And back. Nice. We're going to pick up the left foot and hold your left knee with your right hand. Now, if you're feeling a bit too wobbly to do that, just put your left tiptoes on the floor, but cross your left leg over your right leg. Otherwise, we're holding the knee. Good. And then we're going to put that foot back without falling back into position to find where your foot is going to be parallel and hip width and place it back down. And then the second side. So right knee lift and left hand holding. Good. And then when we put that leg back down, we're finding where the foot's going to go. So not falling back into position. Let's keep going from side to side. And finding your flow of breath. And starting to feel the movement around that flow. There might be some awkwardness in struggling a little with your balance. That's fine. To be expected. Nice. All right, now this time we're going to start to put the feet down, but wider than hip width. And we're going to take a few steps to step the feet out to a wide-legged distance. So trying as much as you can to still be finding the floor with your foot before you put the foot back down. At some point, we're going to have to be falling a little bit onto the floor until your feet are wider than your leg is long. Good. And then we're going to make figure 8 movements with the hips. So it's a difficult movement with the legs out wide. So it might just be a very small movement trying to get the hips to move forward and back, noticing how they feel. And then the other direction. Nice. Okay, turn the toes out now and bend the knee and be lifting the pelvic floor, the core of the body. And we're going to do the same thing, but because the knees are bent, you'll be able to move your knees as well. So we've got a figure 8 happening with the hips. So be a little bit more movement this time. Good. Keep the pelvic floor lifting. You want to feel that internal muscular support and feeling the breath. Nice work. And back up to center. All right, we're going to turn the toes both to the right side and your right foot parallel to the edge of your mat and your left toes in a little. We're going to bend the knee and bring your hands down onto the floor. So odds are your hands are to the inside edge or the big toe edge of your right foot. So your torso is sort of 45 degrees from your legs or at an angle to your legs. Bend and straighten your right leg. So really explore how far can you bend that leg? How far will it straighten? We'll try to bring the bones of the spine forward and finding the breath. All right, now what I want you to find is your biggest bend, and then we're going to lift the torso up into warrior 2. Bring the hands up or the arms up at shoulder height. So we're as deeply bent into the right leg as you can. And sometimes it's the distance between your feet that's limiting where you can bend your knee to. So a bigger distance means you can bend more deeply, but you have to modify that for your own body. We'll reach back with the left fingertip. And in fact, try and turn your whole torso now to the left and then looking right. Very nice. We're going to reach the right arm now out and over the right leg. And you can either put your right hand onto your elbow, left hand on your hip. Or you might be able to reach your torso a little further and put your hand on the floor inside your right foot. And again, modify the posture for you. So don't be straining to reach the floor. Keep the elbow on the knee if that's a better fit. Roll the left hip back, the left ribs back. Good. And then left arm by the left ear. And breathing deeply. Nice work. And coming up. Lovely. We're going to turn the feet to the second side. And you're going to bend your left knee. And we're going to put our hands on the floor inside the big toe edge of the left foot to begin with. So that the torso is comfortable, the spine is comfortable, and then we play around with straightening and bending that left leg. Feeling the flow of your breath. Breathe in a way that feels really satisfying. Good. Now I want you to bend your left leg as deeply as you can, but really feel your internal muscular support as you lift your torso and reach your arms from your shoulders. Okay, and then checking how did that go. If your feet are wider, maybe you can dip down a little bit lower, but modify for your body. So your hips feel stable. Beautiful. We're going to turn the whole torso to look right, and then just the head to look left. And as the pelvis lowers, we lift the pelvic floor, lift the lower front core. Beautiful. Reaching your left arm now, and you can bring the left hand or left elbow onto the left knee and the right hand on your right hip. Or try to reach for the floor. But we still want to be able to roll back the right hip. Nice work. And then inhale and coming up. We're going to turn the feet to the front. Turn the toes in this time. Make a little back bend shape. So lifting the belly, lifting the breastbone, and then we're going to bring the back bend shape forward, bending at the hip crease. And reaching the top of the head forward. Lifting kneecaps, quadriceps, sit bones. Stretch your arms out as far as feels good. Good. Bring the hands back underneath the shoulders. Turn your toes out and bend your knees. And we're going to sway the hips from side to side so that you stretch one leg and bend the other. And then opposite side. Good. And do this as deeply as feels good. If it's too big a stretch to reach your hands to the floor, you can do the same thing with your hands on your thighs. So you're exploring your movement. And conversely, if you can move more deeply, then try to bring the sit bone towards the heel. Feeling that nice stretch. If you're in that almost squatting position, when you're on your straight leg, when you're straightening your leg, bring up onto the heel. You'll get that extra hamstring stretch. Lovely. All right, coming back to center. And you're going to straighten your legs, turn your toes in again. Hands under the shoulders, find your back bend shape. And then we're going to walk the hands over to the left side. Reach as far as you can, especially with your right hand, your right arm. Lifting your kneecaps here, so really strong in your legs. Feeling the flow of your breath as you reach. As you find length and space. Feeling satisfied with breath. Beautiful. Back to center. Reach the hands over to the right side. And really reach with the left hand so that you're lengthening left shoulder blade, ribs, lifting kneecaps, quadriceps, sit bones. So lovely. Come back, hands underneath the shoulders. Good. We're going to bend the knees and we're going to roll. Take the arms up and look up. Beautiful. All right, we're going to step back to feet hip width, but we're going to do it in that little steps at a time and shifting weight from side to side. Whoa. And trying to put your foot down. With intention, I'm not getting very far here. Gets easier as you get closer until your feet are hip width. Tadasana. Satisfied with the breath. Excuse me for 1 second. Lifting the front body. Feeling anchored spacious. Beautiful. All right, we're going to take Garudasana arm. I've been doing these this week. Holding your shoulders. See if you can cross your elbows a little further. And you can keep your hands here, or you can see how you go, reaching for your thumb or your palm. Drawing the shoulder blades down. Lifting the elbows, lifting the hands. We'll bend the knees a little. And we're going to lift up onto the left tiptoes. So even though we spread the skin between the shoulder blades, try to embed the bones of the spine forward and feel that lift in the body. Also, your stability, your core. And if you have your stability, you can try crossing your left thigh over your right. Good, and then releasing. I'm trying to put my foot down with intention, but sometimes it doesn't translate to the physical action. All right, and then we'll do the other way around. So left over right. You can hold your shoulders to start with and try and get your elbows a little further. And then finding your thumb or facing your palms. Whatever works for your shoulders. Shoulder blades down. And try to get the bones of the spine embedding forward. A little bit of a back bend feeling. Nice. And if it feels okay, elbows up, hands away from your face. Great. Bend your knees a little. And we're going to lift up onto the right tiptoe. Feel the core of your body stabilize, support. And if you have your balance, try crossing your right thigh over your left. Tucking your foot in behind your standing leg or beside. Beautiful. And then releasing with that sense of your core stability. Oh, nice work. Another little balance. If you're feeling very wobbly, having the back of a chair to hang on to can be good here. We're going to do tree pose, vasisthasana. Turning your left leg out, your right foot facing forward. And you can keep your heel, as I have, on your right ankle and your left tiptoes on the floor. Or you can put the left foot higher up your right leg. So below your knee or above your knee. So finding your lower half of the body position. Good, and then we want to really make sure that the core is helping us stabilize and lift. Whoa. All right, now hands could stay at your belly to keep your awareness at the core, or in front of the heart, or even up by your ears. Drawing the shoulder blades down. So we're going to add an element of difficulty here and start to sway like a tree from side to side. And as you do that, try to lengthen your ribs each time. Make more space. Grow taller. I'm going to touch my ceiling soon. Good, but keep the neck relaxed. And back to center. And then releasing and have that intention about placing your foot hip width and parallel. Vasisthasana. I love being a tree. Let's take the right toes out, the right knee out, and you can keep your leg so your toes can touch the floor if you need, or place your foot under your knee or on your thigh above your knee. We get the lower half of the body organized, and then we want to really feel the core of the body stabilizing and lifting. Good. Hands can be where it works for you. Belly, on the back of a chair, at the heart, or by the ears. Good. Satisfying breath. And then we're going to start to sway a little the trunk from side to side. Lengthening between the ribs. Ha. Until you are very long, very tall. Beautiful. Relax your shoulders. Stay tuned into your breath. Release your arms. Release your foot, intending where you're going to place your foot. Ooh, Tadasana. Nice work. Great. Now, we're going to practice the movement where we go from kneeling to squatting. And if kneeling is an uncomfortable movement for your knees at the moment, practice a little squat where you're mostly standing and you just bend your knees as far as your knees can manage, but you're going to keep your legs parallel so that you're working on that lifting of the quadriceps. If you're comfortable kneeling, you're going to have your hands on the floor. Good. And then your toes are tucked under. And you practice that first little bit to see how the core of the body is going, lifting the knees from the floor and placing them back down without falling down. Good. And then if that it feels fine, roll your heels back down to the floor. So you're now in a squatting position and then back to kneeling. And we're going to keep moving kneeling to squatting. So if you're standing, you're practicing holding that tiny squat so that your knees feel stable. And if you're on the floor doing this one, we're trying to get the heels down. Lovely. And then we're all going to come into an all fours position on the mat and stretch your hands out wide. Press the fingerprints and the base of the index finger. Tuck the toes under. Pressing your heels and lifting your sit bones. Downward facing dog pose. Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Lengthening armpits, letting your head just hang down. Nice work. Bring your knees to the floor and walk your knees back. So what we want now is the hips over the knees and a big enough distance from your hips to your hands to feel a big stretch in your shoulders, your armpits, your chest when you bring your head towards the floor. See if you can keep relaxing the spine between your shoulder blades forward. And as you are connected to your breath, feel that satisfying movement of the breath in the lungs and ribs. Nice work. And then let's try our Ardha Mukha Svanasana again. Stretching your hands out wide. Try to keep the weight forward into the fingerprints and the base of the index fingers. Tuck the toes under. Lifting kneecaps, quadriceps, sit bones. Lovely work. And then we're going to take a seated position, kneeling if you can, if that's comfortable enough for your knees. And you can always fold your blanket so it's a little bit higher and put that under your sit bone. Nice in the kneeling position to explore having your feet parallel to each other rather than the toes in and the heels out. Parallel feet. Okay, now if kneeling's just not going to work, sit on your blanket and have your legs, your feet in front of you wherever it is comfortable. And we're lifting the spine. Nice. I'm going to warm up the wrist a little bit more. So you can go from side to side one at a time, or you can try both together. But we're going to have the fingers pointing back and the palms pointing up. So you're pressing the back of the hand to the floor. And what you're going to do is walk your hands around. So start to move the direction of the fingers all the way around towards the front of your movement, and then all the way around again to the back. And just make sure you're getting a tiny little bit of pressure in your wrist so you can feel that stretch. Good, walking the hands around. And then differently this time with the fingers pointing back, but the palms facing down. Good. And then we'll just apply a little bit of pressure from side to side as you then change the direction. So walking the hands around, the fingers around. That's the one we normally do with fingers forward, and then turn the fingers back and hold that for a couple more seconds. Finding your breath. Okay, lovely. Now, we're going to lay down on the left side of the body, or not exactly laying down, sitting on the left hip. And let's try with the feet back. And it's tricky to do this, but to try and get the knees back in the same line as the hip, and the hand, left hand, in the same line as the knees and the hip, because we're going to lift up. And I want you to bring your shoulder in. Good, so it feels really stable. And then we'll lift up with the right arm and we'll look up. Nice. We're going to add a little bit here with the right leg out straight. Good work. And then we'll lower down that side and swivel your legs around to the other side so that you're now on your right hip. And we try to wiggle the knees back. And we've got the right hand in a line with the knees, the hip, the hand. Good. So when you lift up, don't let the shoulder collapse out. Really try to draw that shoulder in strongly. And we're going to lift up, hip lifting, beautiful, and left arm lifting and looking. And then we'll take the left leg out to straight. Bringing the hips forward, opening the heart towards the ceiling. Very nice work. And then lowering down. Good. Let's swivel the legs around to the first side again. And now you can repeat with the bent legs, or we can try for the straight leg version. So hips, knees, hands and feet all in one line. Good. And the shoulder It's not hanging out to the left side. You're really working the shoulder in towards the core of the body. So if you imagine those areas of energy in the body really containing towards the core, shoulder included. Great. And then we're going to lift up. You might have to wiggle your feet a bit further out and right arm up. So you can always put your knees back down on the floor and do the bent leg version. Vasisthasana. Good. And then releasing. Oh, that's hard work. All right. And then the second side, the last side, magic words. All right. So knees might be bent or your legs might be straight. And we've got the knees, hip, and hand all in a straight line, and the shoulder heading towards the core of the body really containing here as you lift up. Whoops. Opening the heart towards the sky, finding the satisfying breath. Lovely. And coming down. All right. Nice work. We're going to take a simple seat now, cross legs or semi-wide legs, and sit up onto your blanket. And we're going to reach over to the left side. So reach your hand out, and you might have enough movement to put your elbow on the floor. But if it makes an awkward shape in your back, just start with your hand just on the floor. Because we want a fairly straight spine here, not a banana shape. So if you have a banana shape, just walk your hand in until you feel nice and straight. All right, and then we're going to keep working on lengthening the torso over to the left, keeping the evenness both sides of the spine. We'll keep the right sit bone down. We're reaching in the direction of the left. You might find that your hand can go out further or your elbow reaches the floor. Lovely. And if you want to add to this with the right side of the body, we'll take the right arm by the right as well. Heart shining upward, skyward. Spreading loving kindness. And then we're going to lift up. Oh, I love those kind of postures. Let's change the cross of the leg if you have your leg. And we'll have that good intention as we start off to keep the sides of the waist fairly even in length. So just reaching as far as you're able to do that. And the magic of the posture is really, as you start to spend time and explore how long you can let the sides of the waist become. You might find you can walk your right hand further out or even be on your elbow. Your left sitting bone anchored. And we try to shine the heart upward, outward. If you want to add in the left side of the body stretch, bring the left arm by your left ear. And then inhale and coming up. Lovely work. All right, we're going to stay seated and put both legs straight out in front. We often do this next posture laying down, which, because there's a lot of support, it's easier, I guess, to access it. So this can be quite difficult in a seated position. Let's embrace the awkwardness. Bend in your left leg. And we're going to pick up the foot and try to hold your left foot with your right hand. Now, if you're not quite reaching, then you could hold onto your legging. And the movement is, we're going to move the leg around. You use your arms to help, but start to feel the movement of your hip. So the leg might go across your body, trying to get your left foot a little closer to your right shoulder. Lovely. And where we're aiming for is to improve our range of movement from being able to put the foot, say, on the floor inside the knee. Next stage, putting it up above the knee or along the thigh or even in front of your right hip, so that we're in a half lotus position. Adho Baddha Paschimottanasana. Bring the hands behind your hips and feel the spine lifting. Feel the bones of the spine embedding forward. The shoulders relax and connecting to your breath. Nice work. And we're going to release that side. And then bending in your right leg. Take hold of your right foot with your left hand or your leggings. So you're supporting your lower leg with your hands, your arms. And then a little bit of maneuvering in a kind and compassionate way, in a curious way. And so one of the movements we're trying to do is lift up the foot and bring it closer to the left shoulder. And paying attention to how your hip feels with that. Good. And then see how you go placing your foot. So it might go onto the floor inside your right knee, or maybe on your thigh, or maybe in front of the left hip. And we'll put the hands behind the hip and lift the spine. And bring the bones of the spine forward. And finding each breath. Nice work. We normally finish lying down, but we haven't got much time, and I think we might just do a simple cross-legged seat for our little twist to finish. And we'll twist to the right, Sukhasana, and find your breath, the feeling of this movement in your body, and your mind as an observer. And let the boundaries between those parts of yourself blur and soften. Feel the spaciousness of your heart. And then back to center. And change the cross of your leg. Turning to the left. And shoulders relax down so the neck is long. And then coming back to center. And bring the hands in front of your heart. Take the feeling of the practice with you. Namaste.